Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host Nathan P. Butler. This time we circle back to something I thought we'd probably seen the last of, but no, there is another. At least in terms of CED releases of the Star Wars films and other things in the US. We've already seen two versions of A New Hope, where of course we had the 20th Century Fox version and the CBS Fox version. We have seen The Empire Strikes Back. We've seen Return of the Jedi in two different versions based on caddy colors, and we've taken a look at the double feature of Making of Star Wars and SPFX The Empire Strikes Back. I figured that was it. But Adam Parrish, who is sort of the Star Wars Home Video group on Facebook's resident expert on CEDs, managed to spot another of these very recently that I managed to track down. And in fact, I actually tracked it down twice. Because the first time, again, going back to the COVID-19 makes the delivery issues even worse when I already saw that happen more frequently than others, probably because of how much stuff I order online compared to going to a store and getting it even prior to COVID. The first time I ordered it, it was delivered to the wrong place. It was delivered to one of the neighbors down the street who couldn't be bothered to bring it by when they realized that was not a package for them. Instead, they had to wait for the postal office person to basically pick it up from them and deliver it to me down the street several days later. So at least they were honest enough to do that, but couldn't be bothered again to bring it over themselves when it was like 2 or something houses away. In the meantime of it being lost, where there was nothing I could really do through eBay because according to the tracking, it had gotten delivered, just not to the right place, but it had gotten delivered and it was sent to the right place, so surely it must have arrived. There was nothing I could do about it through eBay. I wound up finding another one online and ordered that one. Thankfully, the first one, when it finally did show up, was really in some pretty ratty shape. The person had only shown the front on eBay, and there was a reason why, because the back was basically falling off. The one that I ordered as a replacement turned out to be the one that I wanted to keep anyway. But again, the travails of dealing with COVID era, and just in general, in my experience, delivery continues. So what are we looking at here? What is this mysterious one that we hadn't seen before? It's another copy of A New Hope. Remember, we'd seen the first release of A New Hope on CED in 1982, and it was this. It was through 20th Century Fox Video, right? So it had all the branding of that era. But then 20th Century Fox Video became, after merging with CBS Video, CBS Fox Video throughout the course of 1982. And whereas most of the different reissues under the CBS Fox logo came in 1983, the CED that was rebranded as CBS Fox actually just came later in 1982, preceding the other ones. There's CBS Fox, Star Wars with the imagery here, right? Little area down here where it says capacitance, electronic disc, and CED and stereo. The back was CBS Fox and everything, right? Notice, though, this is early in the Star Wars CED releases, back when you could count on the fact that the caddy and the frame, would be the same colors, in this case, blue. We saw that for Return of the Jedi, there was a all-blue version, when it had 2 caddies in that case, but there was also an all-white caddy version, which usually meant mono, because they just run out of blue caddies and kept producing, so they produced them in white caddies as a later printing of them. We saw a white caddy for the Making of double feature, and for The Empire Strikes Back, we had kind of the weird situation where they all seem to have come out with blue caddies and a white frame for the disc, right? We've yet to see proof of any Empire Strikes Back copies that were totally blue, like you would have expected for a stereo film. But aside from that being kind of an odd thing, the color of the caddy or the color of the spine, and sometimes them being mismatched, as in the case of The Empire Strikes Back, there was one other thing that sometimes differentiated CEDs. Remember, you would have to take this and stick it in your player. It would grab the frame with the disc, and you would pull this big thing back out, leaving the frame and the disc inside your player. And to make it easier to grab, many of the early ones had these divot-type things to help you as a handle as you pulled it in and out of your player. Well, in 1983, there was another printing of A New Hope. But this printing had 2 interesting things to go with it. One, it was like The Empire Strikes Back in that it was a blue caddy with a white frame. Apparently, whatever it was that caused that to be the case for Empire apparently affected the 1983 version of A New Hope, a year before Empire's release. And the caddy design had slightly shifted to not having the little grip handle. This is that variant we didn't know existed until Adam Parrish spotted it, or at least many in the home video community on Facebook didn't know existed until Adam found it. Notice, same imagery, CBS Fox and everything, capacitance electronic disc, CED, stereo, all this stuff the same, but no cutout, and this is solid. It is flat. There is no divot. It's not the sticker over a divot. The actual plastic has no divot in it on front or back. Okay. Notice the top, it is a white frame rather than a blue one, very much like the Empire Strikes Back. And then the back, essentially the same. UPC, CBS Fox Video, images, description, cast, crew, all your information down here. Now, it is the same label, so if you look down here, the only copyright dates you're going to see are 1977 for the film in a couple places and 1982. But this printing, Adam was able to confirm, this printing came in 1983. So it is a second version of the CBS Fox A New Hope CED, the third version and the last version of A New Hope on CED overall, and those were all within the span of 1982 and 1983. Again, the biggest difference here, if you're trying to find all these, is that 1983 has no divot and the color mismatch. But it's the divot that is the primary thing that's going to be for people to spot unless they're really eagle-eyed and looking for the frame color there. And that could be an accident. That could be somebody putting the wrong frame back in the package for some CEDs. In this case, this is the only version we've seen. Both of the ones I picked up are exactly like this, including the damaged one. But no divot? That's not an accident. That's a design choice for certain, which makes this a variant beyond what we saw from late 82. Thanks to Adam Parrish, not for finding this one for me, but for pointing out its existence at all when he discovered it. Adam is very much sort of the guru of CEDs for the Star Wars home video community, and I certainly appreciate that. With that, we'll wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.